Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, reaching for your phone to check your bank account, and feeling a knot tighten in your stomach before the screen even lights up. That sinking feeling of uncertainty, the cold sweat of knowing the numbers might not add up, is a fear that haunts millions of people every single day. But what if I told you that there is a way to silence that fear forever? What if there was a mathematical and psychological blueprint designed by the greatest investor of the 20th century that could guarantee you never run out of money again? We are not talking about getting rich quick schemes or gambling on volatile trends. We are talking about the timeless wisdom of the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Edward Buffett. Born on August 30th, 1930, in the humble city of Omaha, Nebraska, Buffett did not just stumble upon wealth, he built it, brick by brick, understanding the laws of money better than anyone else alive. He has consistently ranked among the wealthiest individuals on the planet, claiming the top spot in 2008, yet he still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. Why? Because he cracked the code. Today, we are going to deconstruct his mind. We are going to apply a specific 1% rule that changed his life and can revolutionize yours. We are going to walk through a complete step-by-step guide on how to build a fortress around your finances so that the wind of poverty can never blow your house down again. Prepare yourself, because we are about to change the way you see every single dollar that passes through your hands. To understand how to never run out of money, we must first address the elephant in the room. Why do we run out of money in the first place? It is rarely a problem of income, and almost always a problem of behavior. Most people believe that if they just earn $10,000 more a year, or $20,000, their problems would vanish. But Warren Buffett teaches us that money exposes who you are. If you cannot manage $1,000, you will not be able to manage $1 million. The habits are the same, only the zeros change. The first pillar of our journey is understanding the difference between price and value. Buffett famously said that price is what you pay, but value is what you get. In our modern society, we are programmed to look at price tags. We see a new car that costs $50,000 and we think about the monthly payment. We do not think about the value. When you spend money on things that lose value, you are actively working against your future self. Every time you buy something that depreciates, you are essentially setting fire to your time because you traded hours of your life to earn that money. The first step to never being broke is to stop bleeding money into things that offer zero return. This brings us to the most fundamental rule that Buffett lives by, which he calls rule number 1, never lose money. And rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. This sounds simple, perhaps too simple, but let us look deeper. He is not saying that investments will never fluctuate. He is saying do not make unforced errors. Do not gamble. Do not put your capital at risk in things you do not understand. When you buy a gadget you do not need, you have lost 100% of that money. You have violated rule number 1. To never run out of money, you must treat your capital like a soldier. You are the general. Every dollar is a soldier. You send them out to capture more soldiers and bring them back to you. If you send them on a suicide mission to buy clothes you will only wear once to impress people you do not even like, you are a bad general. You are decimating your own army. Let us talk about the psychology behind our spending. Scientific research on happiness and well-being suggests that the human brain is wired for instant gratification. When you see something you want, your brain releases dopamine. It is a chemical reward system designed to help us survive in the wild, not to navigate a complex modern economy. When you buy that item, the dopamine spikes, and then it crashes. This is why the joy of a new purchase fades so quickly, often within hours or days. This phenomenon is known as the hedonic treadmill. We keep running, buying more, trying to reach that high again, but we stay in the same place financially. Warren Buffett operates differently. He operates from what psychologists call an internal locus of control. He does not need external validation. This is why he drives an older car and eats at fast food restaurants despite being a billionaire. He understands that money is a tool for freedom, not a tool for status. If you want to ensure you never run out of money, you must divorce your ego from your wallet. You have to ask yourself a hard question. Am I buying this because I need it? Or am I buying this because I feel insecure? The moment you stop spending money to patch holes in your self-esteem is the moment you begin to build real wealth. Now, I want to pause for a brief moment. We are diving deep into a philosophy that goes against everything society tells you. If you are finding value in this content and you want to commit to mastering your financial destiny, please take a second to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us immensely to keep bringing these in-depth analyses to you, and it signals to the algorithm that you are part of the community that values wisdom over hype. Thank you for your support. Now, let us continue with the strategy. We need to discuss the power of the 1% rule in the context of compound interest. Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who does not, pays it. Buffett's life is a testament to this. More than 90% of his wealth was accumulated after his 65th birthday. This is a staggering statistic. It shows that patience is the most powerful currency you have. But how does this apply to you, specifically if you are not an investment guru? It applies through the 1% rule of habit improvement. If you can improve your financial discipline by just 1% every day, or even every week, the results over a decade are astronomical. Let us assume you save just $5 a day. That is the cost of a fancy coffee or a snack. $5 a day is $150 a month. That is $1,800 a year. If you invest that money with an average return of 8 to 10% over 40 years, that simple habit of saving $5 a day grows into nearly $1 million. That is the math. But the human brain struggles to comprehend exponential growth. We think linearly. We think 5 plus 5 is 10. But in the world of finance, money begets money. The first step is the hardest. The first $10,000 are the most difficult to accumulate because you are doing all the heavy lifting. But once you have that capital, the money starts working for you. The 1% rule means cutting your expenses by 1% and increasing your savings by 1% constantly. It is about marginal gains. Let me give you a concrete example that statistically applies to the majority of people watching this. Consider the modern trap of subscription services and small recurring payments. You might have a streaming service for $15, a music service for $10, a gym membership you rarely use for $30, and perhaps a cloud storage fee for $5. Individually, these seem like nothing, but collectively, this is $60 a month. That is $720 a year. If you invested that $720 into a low-cost index fund, which Buffett highly recommends for the average person, over 30 years, that dead money could have turned into over $100,000. When you look at your bank statement, do not see $15 leaving your account. See $100,000 disappearing from your future. This is the mindset shift. You are not spending $15. You are spending your future freedom. This perspective is terrifying, but it is necessary. It creates a healthy fear, not the paralyzing fear of being broke, but the proactive fear of wasting potential. Another major concept Buffett champions is the circle of competence. This is vital for keeping your money. He says you do not need to be an expert on everything, but you must know where the perimeter of your knowledge is. People lose money because they wander outside their circle. They hear a friend talking about a new cryptocurrency or a hot stock tip, and they throw their savings into it because they have a fear of missing out. This is gambling, not investing. If you do not understand the business, if you cannot write down on a piece of paper exactly how that thing makes money, do not put your money there. Staying within your circle of competence protects your capital. It is better to make a standard return on something you understand than to risk losing everything on something you do not. In a world full of noise and constant information overload, the ability to say no is a superpower. Buffett sits in his office in Omaha, reading for 5 or 6 hours a day. He says no to almost everything. He waits for the perfect pitch. You must do the same with your purchases and your investments. You do not have to swing at every ball. You can stand at the plate with your bat on your shoulder for years, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The market cannot call strikes on you. You only strike out if you swing and miss. So, stop swinging at bad pitches. Stop buying things on impulse. Stop investing in things because a stranger on the internet said so. Now, I have a challenge for you. This is a practical application of the 1% rule. For the next 30 days, I want you to track every single penny. I do not mean just the big bills. I mean every cent. If you find a dime on the street, write it down. If you give a quarter to a friend, write it down. Use a notebook or a simple app on your phone. The goal here is not just accounting, it is awareness. Research shows that the simple act of observing a behavior changes the behavior. It is called the Hawthorne effect. By simply watching your money like a hawk for 30 days, you will subconsciously stop the leaks. You will feel a pang of guilt before buying that unnecessary item because you know you have to write it down. This creates a friction layer between impulse and action. After 30 days, look at the data. You will be shocked to find that a significant percentage of your income is vanishing into thin air, into things you do not remember and do not care about. This exercise is the first step to reclaiming control. It allows you to identify the 1% of habits you can change immediately. We must also address the relationship between money and emotion. The market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. This is one of Buffett's most impactful observations. Impatience is the enemy of wealth. We live in an era of instant delivery and instant answers. We want instant wealth. But real wealth is slow. It is boring. If your financial plan is exciting, you are probably taking too much risk. Good investing should be like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. If you want excitement, take $800 and go to Las Vegas. But if you want to never run out of money, you must embrace boredom. You must fall in love with the process of slow accumulation. This requires emotional intelligence. IQ does not guarantee wealth. There are plenty of geniuses who are broke because they cannot control their emotions. They panic when the market drops and sell at the bottom. They get greedy when the market rises and buy at the top. Buffett teaches us to be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. This is contrarian thinking. It requires you to stand apart from the crowd. When everyone is shouting that the economy is collapsing, that is often the best time to buy. When everyone is celebrating and buying luxury items on credit, that is the time to be cautious. You must cultivate an emotional firewall. Your financial decisions must be driven by logic and math, not by the headlines on the news or the panic of your neighbors. Let us deepen our understanding of risk. Many people think keeping cash under the mattress or in a low-interest bank account is safe, but they are forgetting the silent killer, inflation. Inflation is the tax on money that sits still. If inflation is at 3%, your money is losing 3% of its purchasing power every year. To never run out of money, your money must grow faster than inflation. You cannot simply save your way to wealth. You must invest. But you must invest wisely. Buffett recommends the index fund for the average person because it bets on American business as a whole. It is a bet that over time, human productivity and innovation will increase. History shows this is a winning bet. By owning a slice of the entire market, you eliminate the risk of picking a single company that might go bankrupt. You are diversifying. This aligns with the philosophy of never losing money. You are protecting yourself against the failure of any single entity. This strategy is not about beating the market. It is about riding the wave of the market over decades. It is the path of least resistance and highest probability for the common person. Consider the concept of the moat. In medieval times, a castle had a moat around it filled with water to protect it from enemies. Buffett looks for companies with economic moats, unbreachable advantages like a strong brand, a patent, or high switching costs. You need to build a personal economic moat. What is your moat? Your moat is your skill set, your emergency fund, and your multiple streams of income. If you rely on a single paycheck, you have no moat. The enemy, which is an economic downturn, a health issue, or a layoff, can walk right up to your castle walls. To never run out of money, you must dig that moat. Step 1 is the emergency fund. This is a pile of cash, ideally 6 months of living expenses, that sits there doing nothing. It is not an investment. It is insurance. It prevents you from having to sell your investments at a bad time or go into debt when life hits you. It buys you peace of mind. When you have an emergency fund, you do not make desperate decisions. You negotiate from a position of strength. Step 2 of building your moat is investing in yourself. Buffett says the best investment you can make is in your own abilities. Inflation cannot take away your talent. Taxes cannot take away your knowledge. If you become excellent at what you do, the market will always pay you. Whether it is communication skills, technical skills, or leadership, increasing your earning power is the most direct way to widen your moat. Let us revisit the idea of happiness and money. Studies have shown that once your basic needs are met, the correlation between more money and more happiness diminishes significantly. The joy of a new car lasts a month. The joy of financial security lasts a lifetime. The stress of debt is chronic. It raises your cortisol levels, affects your sleep, damages your health, and strains your relationships. By applying these principles, you are not just securing your bank account. You are securing your health. You are buying your freedom. Freedom to say no to a boss you dislike. Freedom to spend time with your family. Freedom to pursue your passions. This is the true definition of wealth, according to Buffett. It is having control over your time. When you realize this, the urge to spend money on frivolous things disappears. You realize that the designer bag or the luxury watch is not a symbol of wealth. Often, it is a symbol of slavery to debt or insecurity. True wealth is quiet. It is the uncashed check. It is the optionality to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want.